What's good, Zimbabwe? Welcome to the Uncle Chuck's podcast. I'm in my man cave. Once a week, I invite people to come over. We sit down, have a chat, have conversations about certain topics. We agree to disagree. At the end of the day, hopefully, we give you guys a good show. This week, I'm sitting next to a friend of mine. Her name is Charmaine. We had a little discussion on a job identity before we started, and I wasn't really sure because I always call her by a certain name, but now she was like, "No, Chuck, it's actually this," you know. And what do you do, by the way, Charmaine? Sorry, I had to do that.
I said I'm a creative entrepreneur
Okay.
because I work and make business in the creative space.
Okay.
And he tried to call me a socialite. I'm not a socialite.
But what's the difference, though?
I don't know. I feel like a socialite is someone that's popular in social
Okay.
circles.
All right.
And I feel like if I call myself that, I'm minimizing my gifts and my talents.
Okay.
Yeah, I may be known in social circles to a
Yeah.
certain degree, but that's not my job
You're not
title.
a socialite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in Zim, you'd be classified as a socialite, right?
Thank God I'm not aiming to be classified in Zim.
All right, welcome to the Man Cave. So last week I came across a certain article on Facebook, which was written by a musician, Clay Nyakujara, right? No, I have this name here. I do not want to be in trouble with the rest of Zimbabwe. Let me look at this name. Yes, it's actually Clay Nyakujara. She's a songwriter, she's an artist, she's a Zim Award winner, apparently, and she wrote an article about discrimination in the arts industry, mainly for women. And I think we had a little chat in my office about it because I really wanted to understand the discrimination part, because I feel we have a couple of heavyweight female artists in Zimbabwe. You know, we have the late Chioniso Marairi. She was pretty big, both local and international. We've got Gemma Griffiths competing with the male artists. She's shared the stage with the biggest names in the industry. Winky D, Praise. She shared stages with them. She's been all over the world, you know, raising the Zimbabwean flag really high. We've had Tammy Moyo.
Yeah.
Not had, we have Tammy Moyo.
Tammy Moyo, yeah.
And then Felinandi appeared from nowhere, you know what I mean? She's blowing up. So I felt that that article was just meant to poke certain people, poke certain aspects of the industry. It never really, I can't say it didn't make sense, but I was like, we have all these powerful female artists, Sandra Ndebele, you get me? We got all these powerful female artists in Zimbabwe. So why would she write such an article?
I feel like, so my views, I'm pro women because I'm a woman. I'm not a feminist. I do not support that movement at all.
You read my mind, right?
Yeah, I'm not a feminist. I don't support the movement. I think it's just the spirit behind it is not for our growth.
Okay.
But I also understand where compassionately we should come from, because women have to work twice as hard to be on the same level of respect as a man in any industry. I feel like probably she's just speaking from her personal experience, and we can't take away from that. Yes, there's people like Felinandi and Gemma Griffith and so forth, but it's not as easy because of what women have to go through to get to those spaces.
Go through what? Like, you have to come out. Please define, as in, go through what? Because if Sandra Ndebele, Tammy Moyo, the names that I just mentioned prior, if they are making it in the industry, then how is it that she might feel that there's discrimination? Because did she think about the part where, listen, in the shower we're all musicians, right? In the shower we're all musicians. To the point where we might want to go to studio and actually think that we can record, and we can sing, because our family members and our friends don't tell us the truth. You know what I mean? Everybody becomes positive and they push you, no, do this, but sometimes you want to, like, no, you can't sing. Nobody says that because there's emotions and feelings behind it. You don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. You want to keep it all nice and mellow. So like you encourage them until they come across a producer or somebody who is actually in the arts industry and they're like, no. You get me? Like, no.
I think so that's based off of talent.
Yeah.
But speaking in regard to those that actually have the talent, they still have to go through things. So I was having a talk with a friend of mine a while back, and she's a musician, and one of the biggest challenges that she's come across is that it's not easy for women to get respect in a studio setting because producers tend to kind of hold their power over them. And at the end of the day, to be honest, people just try to sexualize things all the time.
Yeah.
For women, okay? So it's easier for a guy to go to a producer and be like, yo, I want to sing, this is my track, what do you think? And if the producer thinks that they're good enough, invest his time and his talent and they create something that's great, whether it makes it or not, but they created something. Whereas with the female, you go, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but a lot of the girls that I have spoken with, they go to these producers and the producer will be like, yeah, okay, that's great, but what are you saying? Oh, you want to record, okay, but like you might have to come at like 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night because my studio is booked during the day. So you can't come during the day.
All right.
Because, and then you get there and they're like, oh yeah, no, but let's chill. You know, like, let's talk, let's have drinks. Okay, but I came to record. Yeah, but like, you know, we have to get the vibe right. And then now the conversation is no longer focused on somebody making music. It's now focused on, yeah, so, but I like you. So, yeah, okay, we'll do that. So now you're no longer respecting the woman as a musician,
As an
like you
artist.
would, yeah. You're looking at her as a piece of meat. And some girls may fall subject to that because they feel like there's no other way to get there. And I feel like it's a global thing. It's not just here.
Of course.
Even if you look at people like Kesha or Britney Spears or whoever in the international industry where they've gone into music and they want to make it, but then the gatekeepers of the industry want to exploit them for being women just for them to get like an ounce of recognition in the industry.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not for that. You know what I'm saying? It has been. I mean, I've read several articles about not just Zimbabwean female artists, but I mean worldwide. You know what I mean? It's happening. But at the end of the day, so when you get to the studio, right, and then there's the drinks and there's all of that tantalizing stuff that's supposed to marinate you. You know, you do have the option to say no, I don't want to. You get me? I didn't come here to drink, I came here to work. I think if you start smiling and you don't know what to do at that particular time and moment, you know what I mean, you might get taken advantage of. That is the truth. But if you come in as a firm, strong lady and like, yo, listen, allow all of that. I came here to work. The initial introduction will command a lot of respect. You get what I'm saying?
Some people don't like respect. And I'm saying this as a woman in the creative space because music is just a branch of it.
Yeah.
But like in terms of creativity with gatekeepers, there's always going to be someone. So I am very assertive with my values and like I carry that even in my working space. Some people don't like that. They don't like women that are assertive. Oh, she's like trying to be like a man because you say no.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people don't like women that are not going with the flow because, oh, she's difficult to work with. She wants to be strong-minded about what she wants. And then, because they have like a community, they can go and say, I know, don't work with that one, she's a problem. And now, back to working twice as hard just to get in the room for you to work twice as hard again to get half of the recognition.
Yeah, but I still feel like, you know, listen, when you've got the talent, you've got the talent. It'll come out. You get what I'm saying? It'll come out eventually. There are gatekeepers. Even in my industry, there are gatekeepers. Trust me. They're everywhere. It's not just music. There are gatekeepers in sport. You know what I mean? There are gatekeepers in politics. Even in church politics, there's gatekeepers. It's everywhere. But these are obstacles that you have to overcome.
But do you also acknowledge that a woman has to go through more obstacles than the average man has to in those fields?
At one point in time, I would say yes, but we are in the 21st century. Yeah, are we in the 21st? Are we in 21st or 22nd century? I don't know anymore.
In the 21st.
All right, we're in the 21st century, and I think the industry, um, everything has opened up. It's not about being male or female anymore. It's about I'm gonna get it. I'm here to do it. You wake up in the morning, I'm gonna do this. It's not about being male or female, because now you got a lot of females doing male jobs. You get me? I don't know if they're male producers. I mean, they're female producers out there. If there are any out there, please get in touch with me. I really want to sit down and have a conversation with you. But I've not come across a female producer. You get me? To be honest, no, never. My whole life, I've never come across a female producer. So there's a bit of truth in what you're saying, because all the producers are male. Yeah, but still, as a female, you should get to the studio, have your facts correct. You know, like, yo, I'm here to work. But if you're gonna flirt with him and he feels like he's got a chance of getting some, then that becomes an issue.
I was having a conversation with a female artist that's like really popular in the industry.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she said is that for her to close deals or be in these spaces, you'd have to have like a manager who is male to go with you into those rooms so that you can still acquire some level of respect.
Is it that bad?
It is. She has something to say.
As a person who is starting music, I've had 3 producers, and my first producer, second producer, third producer, not so much, but my first 2 producers, exactly what you've disclosed is exactly what I went through, what you don't see. So first of all, music or talent in general is an attractive thing to people in general, male or female.
Yeah.
So if someone's really talented, lots of women will flock to them, vice versa with women. But with women, what we tend to face is that you meet a producer and you say, okay, I'm here for work. And you said, if you're strong-willed, right?
Yeah.
When you're strong-willed and you approach them in a professional setting and you're like, okay, you're professional, what tends to happen is that there's obstacles that will put, as she mentioned, my producer would say, oh, here, what do you drink? Let's have drinks. So first you'll be like, okay, that's fine, because you've got boundaries. But as you notice, as you start recording the music, you notice that there's things like, okay, how much are my fees for the time that I'm in the studio?
Yeah.
Oh no, don't worry, you've not got to pay for it. As long as when you do blow, we sort each other out. Fine, right? But then it turns to, no, I want to pay for my studio time, because then that's going to gain me my respect. There's issues such as recording late, as she said, making you stay till early hours in the morning. And then they feel that they become too friendly with you. Then it leads to stuff like, now you're in a bind, because now when you say, no, I don't like this, this is inappropriate, I'm not going to do this anymore. You notice stuff like to do with your rights for your music or your beats. They will say, okay, well, you can't use my beat anymore. So even though we did this song and it's a really great song, I'm going to take my beat back, or I'm going to change things. I'm going to not give you this, and then blacklist you in a sense. So you want to release an EP, but you're jumping from producer to producer because you're finding your producer starting to have feelings for you, stuff like that over time. So it's very common, more than you think, but maybe because they don't maybe do it when there's a lot of people around, you might not see it, but it's very common. But it depends on the morals of the woman. If the woman is swayed and she's desperate for that and she doesn't have self-respect, then she might fall into that trap. So that's what I want to say.
I've had a conversation with another young lady in the industry, and at that time she was trying to figure out how to detach herself from a producer that she got romantically involved with.
This is local.
Yes, got romantically involved with.
So she later discovered that it was a mistake.
Now she didn't want to be with him anymore. Okay. And he would threaten to delete her entire catalog because he was in charge.
So why did she want to be with him anymore?
Because I'm not forced to stay in the relationship.
Yeah.
She don't want to be with him anymore. But now he would threaten her career and hold that over her head.
What if he felt like, okay, she did that intentionally, just to get the work done, and now that the work is done, she wants her out, but forgetting that he's got access to her whole catalog.
But
and
then
stuff.
also, it already shows you the mentality of the person. Like
But
we
it's both
work
ways.
together. Okay, we're in a relationship, fine.
Uh-huh.
We work together. We produce great music together. And now because I no longer want to work with you, you get rid of everything that I've ever done.
So why don't you want to work with me anymore?
Am I forced?
No, you're not forced, but
You
what's
move
the reason?
on.
What's, yeah, move on.
Growth.
Growth, moving on.
Evolution, yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, I'm not defending nobody, but like what she said, don't you think he would feel like she just came onto me because she wanted me to do the
Well,
project?
if it
I'm
happens
just
that
saying,
people lay in bed together
there's emotions.
consensually,
Uh-huh.
no one used anyone, we used each other, if that's the case.
But in this case, he's the producer, right?
And she's the singer.
Okay, let's start from the beginning.
A beat is nothing without a good voice.
True. I'm the producer, right? You want to be an artist. Okay, you're an artist, but you're looking for a producer. You come to the studio, we start drinking, vibing and stuff. It's not even about music no more. We actually create a bond. We start dating. We're holding hands in public. You know what I mean? There's Shemaine and Chuck. We're a thing now, yeah? But later on, you discover that, okay, fine, you don't want this relationship no more. The fact that you don't want the relationship anymore, is it connected to the music that we were producing, or is it the relationship that we were in? Because we have to differentiate the two. Because we can still break up and still do music.
Work together, yes. We can, like, okay.
But I don't want a situation whereby I start feeling that you only became nice to me, or you only wanted me because I had the keys to open certain doors for you. Because that's what I would start thinking as a guy, that this girl used me. Henceforth, I'm gonna hold on to.
Your thoughts are not reality.
No, it's reality.
People should be able to, if it happens that they end up in a relationship, be able to separate work from business.
What?
Like, you understand working with your partner. Like, you don't take work home.
Yeah.
Right? So you separate that. If the producer and the singer decide that they don't want to be together anymore, it should not compromise the work.
Yeah, but I don't want in my emotions, guys. This is love.
That's,
love is different.
now that's how you see that people don't know how to be professional.
So who's to blame here? Who's to blame here? Because you came into my studio, I was minding my own business, doing my beats, and you came and it's like, I want to sing. I'm looking at you like,
So do you
not bad.
everyone then that goes into the studio?
I'm not saying, let's not put everybody under the umbrella. I'm just saying in this particular case, because the way we answer this will now define how it is out there. Like what she said, it makes sense, perfect sense. I'm not, listen, there's a lot of, it's not my first time hearing this, by the way. I have a lot of female friends who are in the arts industry, and they've had these conversations with me. But sometimes I like to throw it back at them. Like, you allowed this to happen. You know what I mean? You allowed this. You knew this cat was sneaky in the beginning. There's some signs that you can pick up, but you went with it. You went along, not knowing the dangers down the path. You get me? Then later, now when it blows up and it becomes a big issue, then the blame game starts. Or you start pointing fingers at each other.
I guess then this is where the whole desperation thing comes in.
Because you really want your catalog now.
You wanna pursue a career and you're desperate, and the accountability is lacking boundary on the part of the person who allowed their desperation to kind of calculate the outcome of their situation, but then also accountability on the part of the producer that you exploited someone's desperation.
Okay, so the umbrella term discrimination, I think we've only focused on one bit, which is the fact that there are some male producers out there that might want to manipulate you. Or because they're gatekeepers, they want to use that to their benefit. But there is also the other part, which a lot of people won't talk about, which is the fact that maybe you're just not good. And I'm not going to waste my time putting you out there, which to me it makes a lot of sense. You can't say I'm being discriminated. Like, let me give you an example. I'll use Destiny's Child as an example. The prize was always Beyonce from the beginning. You know what I mean? Everyone would be like, no, but Kelly can sing. But no, Beyonce was the prize because they could sell her. She was sellable.
Star quality, yeah.
She's star quality. She looked amazing. you know what I mean, should glow and all of that. So producers, marketeers, brands look at, how many are they? 4?
3.
3, okay.
Yeah.
You sure?
In the beginning, but like the
Yeah.
proper Destiny's
Yeah,
Child.
so
is
they'll
3
look,
of them.
it's not just for the female side. You also have male groups. Where did Justin Timberlake, where did he come from?
NSYNC,
NSYNC,
yeah.
exactly. You look at all of them like, we can sell him. You get me? We can sell her. So at the end of the day, it's a business. So you're gonna come to me and then you're gonna sing. You know, some people have amazing voices, but we can't sell them.
I get you.
You get me?
Yeah.
You're not. You have to be careful what I say. The last time I was in so much trouble. You know what I'm saying? So,
I agree.
yeah.
There's some female artists that I know that are phenomenal. Like, they're better than some of the people that are headlining in the industry. But they just don't get the recognition because...
They're not good looking.
No.
What is it?
Beautiful, like full package. Beautiful, great dancer, great vocals, diversity and all of this. But like, there's some factors where... I don't know how to say...
Sure now.
No. Zimbabweans like struggle stories.
Okay.
So if you seem like you're from a privileged background,
Yeah.
if you don't look like you're suffering, already they discriminate you.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that part.
Right?
Yeah.
If you don't look like you're suffering, already they're like, we don't want to hear what you're
Yeah.
saying. They want those vakumana vekujecha that are coming really from suffering.
From the
and
dirt.
then even if they're not that great,
Uh-huh.
they put them up on platforms where there's other people that are so much more talented that should be up there, but they get discriminated.
Yeah.
There's already that whole north side versus south
Yeah,
side of
yeah,
Samoa
yeah.
thing in terms of music,
Uh-huh.
right? And now imagine being a woman on the north side of Samoa and you want to tap into music. Already you're a woman. And then there's already that division where they're not really willing to receive like the north side like that. So it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
No matter how talented you are.
You know what? I had a conversation with a friend of mine before, whilst I was waiting for you to come. She came late, by the way. You know what I mean? Where the conversation was like, there are certain people who have this aura around them. You know what I mean? You can call them the 4400. You know what I'm saying? Those are godly people that already, there's this energy. I've met 3 people. The first one, Vigro Deep. Vigro Deep, by the way, for those who don't know, he's an Amapiano producer from South Africa. He's 22 years old. But there's this energy about him. When you meet him, he's just easygoing. You get me? He's not worried about anything. He's well-mannered, well-groomed. The boy is destined for greatness. He's one of those guys. Even when you see him in the studio and he's doing his production, it's like a kid playing in a candy store. There's this energy about him, right? The second one is our own local DJ. Well, he's now based in Dubai. Is Ray Diz. Ray Diz has this greatness about him that this guy is gonna pop off eventually. One day, we're gonna be sitting home watching MTV bases like, I used to drink with that guy, or I used to roll with that guy. He's in him. The third one is Shasha. You know what I mean? The artist. Now, these are people that are close, that I've seen. And worldwide, these people are there. You can tell. Not just in music, even in sports. Lionel Messi never used to train. He'd just be chilling like this here. But he gets on the pitch and he's beating everybody.
So I just want to point out that all these people that you mentioned are great in other countries and not their own homes.
No, but the discrimination is not only in Zimbabwe. Trust me.
Yes,
it's not
but
in
like
Zimbabwe.
if you look at, if we're now centering back on the Zimbabwean
Yeah.
music industry
Yeah.
or entertainment industry,
Yeah.
people want you to go to a certain level and keep you there, okay? Or when you get to that level, there's some... Okay, there's Oliver Mtukudzi. I'm going to try and say it where I don't get, because I've once said something online and people destroyed me in the comment section. So there's people like Oliver Mtukudzi, there's people like
they didn't destroy you.
like
You're still breathing.
And all these amazingly talented people that were authentically Zimbabwean that made it outside of the country, okay? But there's a certain way of operating in the industry, from my personal opinion, that they want you to be Zimbabwean for Zimbabweans that may not be applicable in a global setting, right?
Yeah.
These people, Shasha is a fantastic musician. It's not to say that she started to be fantastic when she left. She always was.
No. I disagree with you there.
Why? What do you mean?
Because I watched her grow and people never gave her anything in Zim. The moment she went across the border, she blew up.
But okay.
You know what I mean? But when
So
she was
you're
local...
disagreeing, but I'm saying the same thing.
Yeah.
She was always great.
Yeah. Okay, if you come...
You understand?
Yeah, I get
It's
you.
not Kuti, she went to South Africa and then she became great. No, she always was. But there was no room for her here.
In Zim?
Yes.
Okay.
For example, in the creative space, there's someone like Kim Jade, okay? You're a sneakerhead, like you should know her. She's a very popular creative and she's established a lane for herself, like with sneaker culture and presenting and all of these things in South Africa. And they appreciate her there. But she didn't start content creating there.
All right.
She went to girls' college, she was in Bulawayo.
All right.
She went to South Africa for university. But during that time, trying to be a model and stuff, there's no room. Sometimes they don't make room for you. And when you go outside and become great, that's when they appreciate you. They like you when everyone else loves you outside. But when you try to do that here, they bash you. There's a lot of hate that happens on Twitter. Some of the best rappers to me that rap in English, when not online, oh, you're trying to sound like who and you're trying to sound like who. But it's a global industry that I'm trying to tap into, and you want me to sound Zimbabwean when eventually, if I make it internationally, Zimbabwe makes it internationally. So bringing that now to the topic of conversation, now being a woman, with all of that already, with the mindset that people have, imagine how hard it is to just make it there. And I'm not disputing everything's going to be hard. Nothing worth having comes easy.
True.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go through things. The more you go through those things, the more you appreciate it when you get to the place that you're going to. But we cannot be ignorant to the fact that for women, for years, centuries before us, it's always been a thing where we have to work twice as hard to get half the recognition that men get.
True that. It's sad, but it's the sad... What would you call it? It's the sad truth. So what solution would you have for this, though?
There's just some things that it just is what it is.
Is it?
It's almost like...
No, but that's not... We cannot say it is what it is, because in
Guys,
the end, it's like...
let's
You're
be
not say
honest.
something?
Can I be a devil's advocate?
Yeah.
We discussed the discrimination from male people, from men. But let's be real, as women, amongst us women, discrimination a lot when other women are elevated comes from us.
Yep.
We don't support each other, so sometimes we get more support from the men
Say that
in
again.
the industry, but the women are the
Hold
ones
up,
that,
hold up.
oh,
I
she
want-
thinks
I
she's
want
this
you
or
to-
that, and then they won't support. Only when it makes them look good or they can associate with that, that's when
that's
they
true.
start to. So that's
You
part
see
of
what
it.
she said? The problem is you people.
that I
Because you
cannot
women don't
deny.
even like each other to start off with. You know what I mean? So how do you even uplift each other?
That's true.
It's also as men, we're washing our hands off this.
That's true.
You all need to start, hugging each other and, loving each other first.
That's
and
true.
uplifting each other first. As women, then you can start pointing fingers at us men as being discriminative. We are not one. Not all of us.
Yeah.
Fine. We have some bad apples in the basket as men. Yeah. But women, you guys don't even like each other to start off with.
Okay, so my perspective was in
But you do
context
agree with
to
me
the
though.
article.
You do agree
right?
with me that part.
Yes.
You don't like each other.
No.
Why?
No,
Why?
no.
Why?
Okay, can I?
Okay,
My
fine.
perspective was in context to the article based off of gender discrimination. But then if we go into a deeper analysis of it,
Yeah.
that's why being a woman is just, guys, it's hard.
I do agree. It's
Because
difficult.
even within ourselves, like she's saying,
Yeah.
probably the most hate that you will get
It's from another
is
woman.
from another woman. And it's very sad because, like, you're suffering like me. Why are you doing that? Like, if we work together, we'll be more effective. But I think it's more of a case of insecurity.
Yeah.
Some women, when they see another woman that looks
Good.
good
Yeah.
or that is
blowing up.
thriving in her industry,
Yeah.
it now makes her feel like she has to look at herself like there's something wrong with her. And if we could look at it like my sister's doing good, so that makes me look good. Like there's a saying where if I see my neighbor being blessed, it means God is in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I celebrate you knowing that I'm next.
Yeah.
But then
You're not
people,
next.
People feel like Atutura industry, or she thinks she's nice, and you don't
Yeah.
even know how hard it is for me to show up like that.
Yeah.
And then there's that extra discrimination that goes on within the female community. So I do agree
Yeah.
with that. I don't want to say we don't like each other, we hate each other. I don't want that to be the narrative.
Sadly, but it's the truth.
But it's not my truth. It's not my
Oh, not
truth.
you, but I mean.
And for the women that I associate myself with,
yeah.
they don't. That's not the truth for them, you know. So it does exist, but I don't want to put it out there that that's the narrative that, like,
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
women hate each other. We don't. We're so powerful if we work together.
But you don't work together.
But we do.
No. A small percentage. A small percentage do. The rest of you are very competitive. You get me? Yeah, very competitive. And the level of competition that women have, men can be competitive to a certain point where we actually this guy, he's better than me. Women never.
They'll never admit to say this person's
Never.
better than
They'll
me.
actually go back to the drawing board, change the whole blueprint, and come back with the right, stronger. Let me try again.
It's a bad thing, but it's a good thing as well.
To a certain extent, but why would you want to go and change the blueprint and come back? What's wrong with saying, Shemaine, my sister, you are popping. Can you hook me up? What's wrong with saying that?
Nothing's wrong.
Exactly. Women don't do that. They just stay from a
But
distance and like,
women, it means all of us are like that.
not all of you, but we're talking about the arts industry. It's very okay. I can't use Shash as an example because some of the things that she shared with me are private about what she went through in the industry in South Africa, but surrounding women. She went through a lot. You know, she's a Zimbabwean popping off in South Africa. And
In their genre again.
Right.
Yeah.
Now she was labeled as the queen of Amapiano. You know what I mean? And okay, I won't say much because I think she trusted me with a lot of information, but there was a huge burden on her being labeled the queen of Amapiano in a foreign land. And all these other South African female artists that we know, I won't mention them. I mean, they came at her.
Of course.
Not directly, but you know, there's certain subliminal booby traps that were set along her path, and she's God fearing, she's prayerful, so she overcame all these obstacles. You get me?
Yeah.
So this article saying female artists are discriminated in Zimbabwe, we've not even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we just discovered you guys don't even like each other. You get me? you don't even like each other to start off with in the first place. So how can, and of course we got a couple of rotten apples in the basket, being some producers that might or do take advantage of female artists. You know, it's there. We've heard of it. It's not a rumor. You know, I think I've heard a couple of stories too. You know, in the past, but even now it's happening internationally, locally. It's happening. It's real. You know what I mean? But the discrimination part. Listen, we're in the 21st century. You want to be a producer, be a producer. Stop the blame game of saying that it's a male-dominated industry. I think some of the biggest artists right now worldwide are females.
That is true.
Beyonce is huge. Nicki Minaj is huge. You know, what's her name? Cher. Is it Cher? The one who lost weight and then gained weight and then lost and gained again. Now she's doing, I think she thought she died, but she just came back.
What?
Yeah. I'll look for a picture and put it on the screen. But she's huge. And then we got country musicians. They're all female artists. They're huge. You get me? Maybe you might want to, you're setting your pie a bit too high. You get me? Because not everybody is going to be at the top. You get me? Not everybody's going to get there. But eventually, if you keep pushing, you will. And stop pointing fingers, Guti. There's discrimination in the industry. We have underlined the discrimination that's in the industry, but overall, it's you as an individual to push.
I agree. I feel like discrimination is always going to exist,
Yeah,
regardless
it's not
of the
just music.
industry, regardless of gender.
Yeah.
If it's not gender, it's race. If it's not race, it's, I guess it's now sexual orientation. There's always going to be something, but that shouldn't stop you from trying to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, you cannot blame the people. It's you. You're accountable for the outcome of your own future, I guess. Yeah.
Does the discrimination come from certain genres, or is it just all female artists? Because if you look globally, it could be a cultural thing in Zimbabwe because of our culture.
Yeah.
So certain kinds of artists that do more traditional music, that are dressed more modestly, might be less discriminated against because that's what's accepted. The ones that are probably appeal to more international audiences could have more discrimination because of our culture. So it's like in America, artists that are more neo-soul artists, you've got your Jill Scotts, Erykah Badu's, you've got, your other artists, so your mainstream artists such as Sexy Red, Lato, they're discriminated against because it's not socially, productive for young girls and things like that. So there's a difference between, discrimination comes depending on, and as you said, women discriminate against each other, but you can't put it in a box and say, oh, women hate each other or men do this to women. It's a plethora of things that add up. So I think those are the things we need to look at in general and come together and say, okay, these things in discrimination aren't good, but it's not this or that kind of matter. It's kind of like everything together, because women do support each other and they give each other their flowers. I think because we're seeing it more in the industry, like Nicki Minaj, being in the media for not discriminating, for sort of like feeling like, oh, all these new young artists are coming for my spot, but they can't.
Yeah.
But you can see amongst the other female artists, they're actually supporting each other. You see the old school artists like Queen Latifah, MC Light, and all the rest coming together with the new artists and doing, performances with them to put them on. Cardi B's doing the same thing. So we can kind of like see discrimination around, but it depends on cultural norms as well.
Okay, I have something to say because I like Nicki, guys. I love Nicki.
I love Nicki
and
too.
I get that she's doing all of that, but we cannot make like she's not putting young female artists out there too.
Definitely.
Because like now she's currently doing her tour, and she brought out JT and Akbar and someone else, and like Ice Spice and all of these people, and she rapped with them. I think she just, because she's at the top of the list when it comes to female rap, anyone that's coming up
has to go through her
now
somehow.
No, not even that they have to go through it. They feel like, for me to be in that position, I have to knock you. I think she just happens to fight back, because like she's not gonna let people bully her, and then it's like, oh no, she's old and she doesn't care about all these young people. But like, are you looking at how they appreciate, how they're coming towards you? Are you coming with respect for the work that I've put in, or are you just coming to want to knock me out of my throne because you want to be the next me? You know. So that's just me, because like I love Nicki, but I agree. I agree with what she said. She said something that's very powerful for our society. I love Japreza. Okay. Fantastic artist. He appeals to the Zimbabwean community because he's very cultured with his art. Then there's Feli Nandi. She's very cultured with art. So it's easy for Zimbabweans to receive them. Let somebody come who's picking up the culture of a genre that is not Zimbabwean. Hip-hop is not a Zimbabwean genre. We're picking it up. Yes, there's African elements to it, like the drums and stuff, but it's not something that Zimbabweans founded. It's something that another country, another type of people founded. And as much as you want to try and be authentic, you still have to honor the principles of that space if you want to flourish in that space. And then there's people that are producing music that's phenomenal in that area, but because it's not Zimbabwean, they'll be discriminated and like shouted at, oh, you want to sound American, hey, you want to be cool. So now no matter how good they are, they're not received. And it's easier to receive a fairly 90 than it is to receive, I don't know name people's names. So
Give us names.
It's
want
easier
names.
to receive a fairly 90 than it is to receive somebody who is probably, I'm not saying that they are, but probably a better performer, better singer for
Okay.
a global audience, because Zimbabweans don't like, it's like we have an issue never on Tora Chirungu. We have an issue nema salad. Like they don't like people that seem like they're well off, you know.
That is very true.
So yeah.
I mean, like, Damien Woods is an amazing rapper. You know what I mean? I remember putting him on Fiesta, not just once, but I think thrice, because I loved his energy. I felt like if you had to put them in the top 10 rappers in Zim right now, he would be like, top 2, top 3. Like what you're saying, they didn't embrace him because he looks, he's from Uptown. You know what I mean? And because they cannot relate to him, they just don't like him. You know what I mean? I've seen it happening. Like on stage, because I'll be watching him performing. His energy level's on 1,000 right now, but not because they cannot hear what he's saying, is because he doesn't hang with them. He's not from down there. He doesn't chill with them. You know what I mean? So the next act that comes in, who's in all 100% vernacular, they relate to that more. Like you said earlier on in the conversation that we had, because like, I don't want to sound wrong, like they appreciate people that they're suffering with, you know what I mean? I can use that term. But at the end of the day, what has come out of this conversation is that discrimination is not just towards women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some male artists right now who've been discriminated, because of their background.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate that we don't see that. Like, I feel like now he's thriving more in the industry.
I think he embraced it, that, it's not going to work here, let me move on.
But it's starting to, because like he evolved his sound for them to understand, right? Yeah. But it's a shame because we're only, and I say we as in everyone, are only wanting to understand now. But like, he had an article in Vogue magazine. To me, understanding, that's huge.
It is.
That's huge.
It
and
is.
you come here and people can appreciate you, but you can be appreciated by an international, honored, respected publication.
Yeah.
That just says a lot just about us. And now that's why it's very rare. You'll find Zimbabweans that when they leave the country, they still like love, like Kim J, she does that. Jackie Mkiro, she does that. Like, they go out of the country, but they still want to kind of bring their people with them. But a lot of people just don't, like, they'll succeed and they don't want to have anything to do with Zimbabweans because you guys didn't want me when I was here, so now I'm here.
Do you blame them?
No, I don't, to be honest.
We don't blame them. So, but then nobody wants to actually have the conversation as in what made him not want to be affiliated or associated with Zimbabwe. They just call him Salad. You know what I mean? They've made it, they don't want to talk about us anymore. But the fact is, our behavior towards them is what triggered that behavior. You know what I mean? Because in the end of the day, you become selfish. It's like, I'm doing me.
Yeah.
I tried to embrace everybody in the beginning, but everybody somehow gave me the hand. And I put time and work into it. My brand has grown. Outside Zimbabwe, outside Africa, people know me, people are enjoying my music. And then some reporter will write an article like, MC Charmaine refuses to come back to Zim. But when MC Charmaine was in Zim, nobody embraced her. Because we don't want to hear both sides of the story, you know what I mean? We don't want to hear both sides of the story. So now, we who are very ignorant about MC Charmaine, that I don't go fight him, you know what I mean? Already you've created a fan base, not a fan base, a group of haters just because of one single article.
Yeah.
In umbrella terms, looking at that lady's article and looking at the conversation that we just had, discrimination is not just
towards women.
I think it's an umbrella term. It's there everywhere, not just in the arts industry. It's in politics, it's in churches, in school, it's even amongst friends, it's there. But the question is, how do we tackle it? How do we deal with it? Because these are demons, you know what I mean?
I think there's a scripture that says, like, the poor are always going to be with you, the sick are always going to be with you. Discrimination is always going to be there.
Yeah.
It's been there from the beginning of time.
Before Jesus.
It's going to be there when he comes back. You just have to learn how to operate in that space.
Okay, all the lawyers to the left.
Like, there's nothing we can do. You'll cry and cry and cry. Racism is always going to be there, no matter
True.
how much we can want to lie to ourselves and be like, oh, kumbaya, together, one nation, one people. No, it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Whether from white people or from black people, but it's always going to be there. You just have to find a way to function and flourish amongst the discrimination. Because at the end of the day, you can't deny talent.
Find your path.
Yeah.
But eventually, like you said, talent, you always come out eventually. It's probably going to take a bit of time than you'd want to, but eventually, if you're talented enough, you will come out into the starlight. That's what I always feel like, because most musicians and people in the arts industry, if you listen to their story, they'll tell you, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I've been doing this for so long, but the recognition came in, not late, but at the right time. So to my sisters watching this, you're not being discriminated. It's find your path, find it. Eventually, I mean, somebody will always hear you out and put you out there. If you sit down, like I used to do a TV show called Heart of the Rhythm, where I used to interview a lot of artists, like right around Zimbabwe. And then, okay, this is a true story, all right? And then, back in the days, there used to be Book Cafe. Book Cafe was 5th Avenue Shops, where OK is right now, upstairs. There was Book Cafe and there was the Manenberg, right? Now, these two outlets used to nurture local talent. So we had open mics, and those wanted to learn the mbira, the marimba, the guitar, spoken word. Like Monday to Monday, there was always some activity going on, right? And then on Monday evenings, they had this open mic session where poets will come, vocalists will come. Then this one day, they decided to call me to become one of their adjudicators. Like, I'm heading somewhere with this.
Okay.
So I go and I sit down, and, there's water, and we waited for them to arrive, So the first person will come. My name is Tapiwa. I'm a poet. Hey, Tapiwa, what do you have for us today? I want to recite a poem. It's about when I was young and I was growing. I'm like, shoot. And then Tapiwa would recite the poem, and then everyone would clap. Yeah. He's an aspiring poet, right? And then throughout the mist, someone will come who's a vocalist. I'm a singer. And then they sing. Now, we are 3 judges. We know this is off. Like I said earlier on, we are all singers in the bathroom. You know what I mean? And this is actually going to go somewhere if nurtured. Maybe they need voice training. Maybe they need to learn how to read music and stuff like that. And then there are those who are like, this is total disaster. So now you got the adjudicators sitting there, and somehow they feel like they need to lie to people. She sang and it was terrible. It was bad. I opened my mouth and I'm like, no. This is, what's that show on DSTV called?
Wooden mic for idols.
Idols. You know what I mean? It was like a Zim Idols at that moment. But I said it straight up, like, no, guys, no. You can't sing. Your voice, your IAUs, about everything is off. This is not for you. These other 2 judges decided to lie to her. No, I think you need some nurturing on them. So I'm looking at him. I'm trying to tell you where some of the problems are. I'm looking at this guy. He's lying to this poor child, making them feel like they have a future in singing. No, they don't. But then they decided to, give her that confidence and make it feel like she can sing. And I followed up on this girl, because they never invited me back ever again. And I was rough. I was not rough. I was just telling them the truth. Don't waste people's time giving them hope, false hope, because they said I can sing. No, you can't sing. I can hear cracks in your voice. You cannot. Not even plastic surgery can fix that. Singing is not for you. Leave it alone. So now, where I'm heading towards is that when you go to some of these studios, and the producer is like, okay, you like, I want to sing, and then there's the mic. What do you want to sing about? Up tempo, low tempo. What do you know? I'm into R&B. Okay, fine. Let me find you a beat. Sing, right? Probably the producer in his head is like, no, she can't sing, right? Or maybe she can sing. But in this case, we're saying no, she can't sing. Then he finally tells her, sister ka, I'm a one. That's not discrimination. Women are a bit emotional. So when you tell them that, it becomes an issue. Because you cannot sing.
I think it also just requires being sensible. So there's a book that I'm reading. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, right?
Not giving a fuck.
I don't swear on but like...
The what?
Right? I don't swear on
No, but I mean, what the book is called what?
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh, you just did. There we go.
Anyway, so the writer, I think his name is Mark, he speaks about how when he was younger, he wanted to be a rock star. And like it was his desire. He would visualize that he's in front of a crowd and playing the guitar and all of that. And the more he grew, the more he realized that as much as he liked the idea, he wasn't in love with the process that was required to go through getting to that place, right? Having to go to book cafes and performing for an audience of like 5 people and going through all like the tours and all of that. And so he left that and he pursued something else. So there's nothing wrong with people being infatuated with an idea. Allow people to explore themselves and feel like what they can, but also not having a mindset of doing things for affirmation from people. Because if you want to create music and you want to go into the industry and you want people to love you, then you're already doing it for the wrong reasons. Because if you're truly talented and you're truly gifted at something, you'll do it to fulfill the desire that you have to give birth to that thing. I just want, whether people listen to it or they don't listen to it, whether people like it or they don't like it, I'm doing because I'm being obedient to the desire that I have to produce this thing. I'm not doing it to be successful. I'm not doing it for people to like me. I'm doing it so that when I die, I'm like, I done something that I love.
wanted to do.
And with that, I think then God will bring the people that are called to support that dream to flourish. But like, if you're doing it because let me see if someone claps for me, you'll never do it.
Well said. I'm gonna look for that book.
It's a fantastic book. It's a really good book. Yeah.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Charmaine, for making time for me. Although she came late.
Oh my gosh.
But she made it.
Do not push that narrative out there.
Zimbabwe traffic, it's terrible, huh? Potholes. But she made it anyway. This conversation, I mean, it's not a win-win. It's not a loss. But sometimes we sit down and have conversations and try and figure out ways around certain things. We spoke about discrimination in the arts industry for women. We picked up a lot of things. We're the voice that used to come out of nowhere. Sadly, she's off screen, but there's a picture of her right here. She put in some major highlights in it because she's also an artist. We didn't have a chef. I'm sorry for that, but thank you for coming through. We will discuss this further. I'll try and get Claire, the lady who wrote the article, I'll try and get her to the Uncle Chuck's podcast to really stress out some more points as in why she wrote the article. Is it something that she went through, or is it something that a friend of hers went through, but would want to get to the bottom of it? But anyway, thanks for making time for us. Charmaine, thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
The new subscribers, talk about this fantastic podcast called Uncle Chuck's. You know what I'm saying? Share out the link and please inbox any other topics that you'd want us to stress on. And also, if you feel like you want to come onto the onto the podcast and talk about certain things, the numbers on the screen, give me a shout and I'll get back to you. I would like to thank Jägermeister, Arc360, Atifike Junk, and everybody else who's watching. See you next week. Peace out.